Hello guys. Welcome to another phase of critical listening. Okay, so on this particular video, I'm going to show you how to set up your depth perspective. Okay, using just one reverb. Okay, instead of confusing your mix with a lot of different reverbs that ends up masking your sound, you use just one reverb. After all, that's how it is in reality. You use just one reverb, and yet you can be able to place your elements in different depth perspective from that one reverb. Okay, some elements will be at the front, some at the middle, while some at the far back, using just one reverb. Okay, so you won't confuse your mix with different reverbs and masking. Okay, so now let's set it up. Let me show you how to set up your mix in a way that you can use just one reverb for all your elements, and yet you still have some dry up in front, some at the middle, and some at the far back. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So this is a little beat. I just made this beat for this particular purpose. Okay, so I have an acoustic guitar here. I would want it to be in front, and I have a piano here, an E piano, and let's say a synth pad. Okay, yeah, this is a synth pad. Okay, now let me play them. My dog won't allow me. Claire, will you stop that? And so now I would want to set these elements like the acoustic guitar, the E piano, and the pad in different depth perspective. Okay, so now I would want the acoustic guitar to be in front. I want the piano to be at the middle, and then I want the synths to be at the far back. Okay, with just one reverb. Like, let it sound as if they are all coming from one room. Okay, it makes your mix cohesive. Okay, all right. So let's start by adding the reverb of our choice. Let me add, let's use any reverb of your choice. I'm going to be using semantics here. Okay, yeah, so let it load up. Okay, yeah, so this is the space, the reverb I'll be using. Okay, so let's just use a medium room or medium plate for this. Okay, let's use a medium room for this. Okay, so okay, so that's the space. So now you set this up by creating the three auxiliary tracks. Okay, the front, the middle, and the back. So let's start by adding them. So the auxiliary tracks, we don't want any effect on them. We need like 3 aux tracks. Okay, the output. Okay, want the output to be going to the effects, like the semantics. Okay, like we'll send them to the reverb. Okay, so they are all added. Okay, like the output of this stuff, they are going to semantics. As you can see, they're going to the reverb. Okay, so let's call this, let me put the reverb behind. Okay, all right, so let's call this the front space. Then let's call this the middle space. Then let's call this the back space. Okay, so we've created our 3 auxiliary tracks. So let's set them up. Okay, so we've already sent them to the reverb. Okay, so the output of the spaces, they are all going to the reverb. Okay, so now let's configure them. The front space, there's a way we hear as humans. Okay, when you want to hear space in front, like if you're in front and the source that is close to you, you hear that the reverb is going to come after the direct sound. Okay, they're not going to come at the same time, so there is a little delay. Okay, so you have to set your delay on the front space. Okay, so let's use Sternberg stereo delay for this. Okay, let's just say 40 milliseconds. Let's set it at 40 milliseconds. Okay, 40 milliseconds. Okay, a sound that is in front. Okay, there will be a delay, so we want a full wet mix. Okay, it should be wet, 100% wet, and we don't want any feedback as well. Okay, like repetitions. Okay, we don't want that. Okay, that's for the first space. That's all you need to do on the front space. Then on your middle space, we will need a delay as well, but this time around, since the source is closer, so the delay time will be shorter too. Okay, so let's use 15 milliseconds for this. 15 milliseconds. 15 milliseconds. Okay, 100% wet, remember, since you're sending it through auxiliary. Okay, then we don't want any feedback as well. Okay, so that's for the middle space. Then since the element is a bit far from you, it will lose high frequencies. Okay, so let's do an attenuation of let's say 6 dB or so, yeah, on the middle space. Okay, that's all for the middle space. Then for the back space, we don't need any delay, because if an element that is at the back, you hear it the same time with the reverb. Okay, so we don't need any pre-delay for that. Okay, so what we'll just do is to attenuate the high frequencies. Okay, so we'll just drop the high frequencies, okay, around the same 5k, let's say by 12 dB or more, because you lost more high frequencies if an element is coming from the far back. Okay, so we're done with the setup. That is just how to set up your different space. So let us hear how they sound in practice. Okay, so let's send our elements there. Okay, first of all, let me play it without the reverbs first, then we'll send them there. Okay, all right, so let's send the acoustic guitar to the front space. Yeah, okay. Let's send it to the front space. Okay, so let's just add, okay, to the front space. Then let's send the e-piano to the middle space. Okay, let's send it to the middle space. Then let's send the synth pad to the far back space, like back space. Okay, so let's hear how they sound first of all. Surprise. Surprise. Wow, you see what happened? Automatically the guitar sounds in front, okay, then the piano sound, it's somewhere in between, like in the middle of the space, while the synth pad is sounding far behind, all from the same room. Okay, the same space. So when you're mixing, some elements will be at the front, some elements will be at the back, while some will be at the middle. Okay, so if you listen very well, you notice that the mix has more space. It's not mixed yet though, but the balance and the sound image has more space. Okay, and the masking has reduced because of the space. Okay, in our critical listening workshop, we'll talk about spatial maxing. Okay, where you unmask instruments with space. Okay, with reverb. This is an example of it. Okay, so let's listen without it and with it. Okay, let's listen with it first. So this is with the setting. You see the acoustic guitar is in front leading, while the synth is far back. Okay, so you can increase it. So you hear the space. You hear the space in the sound image. So let me put it off so you hear how it was. See how dry it is. You see how dry, and there is no space, there is no room, no sense of space. Okay, so you see everything is just clogged up. You hear everything clogged up together. The chords are clogged up, they are clashing because of spatial. So it's not every time you look at the frequency. Yes, it's very right, you have to unmask them in terms of frequency, but space is another dimension that we'll have to look deep into. Okay, the critical listening workshop, I'll be showing you practical ways on how to dive into the space of your mix. Okay, so this is the setup for using one reverb to simulate different depth distances in your mix. Okay, so let's hear it with and without again. This is without. So with the space in, okay, so if you notice again, the music sounds together, okay? Not like they don't sound like different components, they sound like they are all in a space, okay? And just you can also change the kind of space they are in. If you want it, this is like a hall, okay? This is a medium room. You can change it to a spring or to a hall. Let's use a hall. You see, it's still the same thing, a long hall. You see, the guitar is still dry up while the synth is far back, while the piano is somewhere in between. Okay, so you can just chat me up and DM me to join the critical listening workshop, so you see more of the videos and you can be able to move your sound to the next level. Okay, cheers, guys.